Hello and welcome everybody, all you trading enthusiasts. Thank you for joining us today. I have a very special guest with me today. And first of all, my name is Tracy. If you don't know me, I'm one of the mentors over at Real Life Trading. And I encourage you guys to come on over to www.reallifetrading.com to check us out and see what we have to offer. But I have an amazing woman with me today that I really, really want you guys to get to know. And her name is Xochitl Rodriguez. I'm not going to introduce her. I want her to introduce herself, but I think she's incredible. So, Xochitl, how is it going?
It's going great, Tracy. Thank you so much for the conversation. I'm really looking forward to it. And my name is Xochitl, and I've been with Real Life Trading for a few years, probably like 5 years, 5.5 years.
That's a while. That's a while. I didn't realize you were with them for that long. That's awesome. Now, so tell us, where do you live right now? Where are you from?
So I live in the Los Angeles area. I was raised here in the San Fernando Valley, the part of the greater Los Angeles area in California. And originally I was born just south of the border in Mexico, in a border town called Tijuana. That's where I was born. And then my parents came to the San Fernando Valley when I was 3 years old. Been here since. I did leave, actually. I left the San Fernando Valley, the LA area. I left this area for some businesses in the San Jose and San Francisco area. Then I moved to Oregon. I sold everything, moved to Oregon. And then life brought me back to Los Angeles. So here I am.
That's awesome. That's incredible. So what was your earliest experience with money or finances? Do you remember?
Yes, I think one of my earliest experiences with money and finances was seeing my mom get my dad's paycheck on Fridays. My dad would just hand her the check. And back then there were physical checks in a sealed envelope. And my mom would open it up and see what my dad's total was. And she would, flip the back of the envelope, and she'd start off with his net pay and start deducting rent, bills, blah, 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 everything. She used to track everything she knew she needed to pay. And whatever was left, that's what we had. And she made it work with whatever she had left.
And you actually remember that, or did she go through that with you? This is what I'm doing, or did you just learn that from osmosis?
I just learned because I grew up very poor and poor financially. Well, my parents were extremely loving. I had an abundance in many areas, but not with money. I grew up in a garage. And I shared a sofa bed with my brother until I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And yes, and it was, sometimes people say, oh, we grew up poor, but we never knew we were poor. I always knew we were poor. It was just I was very aware of the haves and the have-nots. And I was very aware that my friends had bedrooms with canopy set and a matching desk. And I'm sharing a sofa bed with my brother, doing my homework on the sofa. We had a little bit of a kitchen, and there was a table, it was a round table, and it went kind of tucked in the corner. And right next to it was a refrigerator, and on the other side was a sink. So there was room for one chair. I was usually my dad, but I grew up like eating. I can have an entire meal standing up, no problem. And so I was always aware of the haves and the have-nots. We couldn't have friends or families over because there just really wasn't anywhere for everybody to sit unless we were all outside.
Right.
So I remember my mom saying, things along those lines, like, this is how much we have. This is how much we have for food, which we always had food. We didn't starve or anything like that. But she knew how much money she had. And she always made money stretch.
Wow.
And so those are the first memories of money that I had. And I would associate the money with, how come we don't have it? Well, doesn't God love me as much as he loves my friends?
Wow. Yeah.
How come my parents, how come we live in a garage? How come we don't have a house? We're not bad people. So I would make it mean all these things. I think as a child, I was just kind of trying to sort it out and make it make sense to me. Mm-hmm. Because I could see the struggles. I could see, we did get a Disneyland trip. My parents were able to do things that now I'm like, how did you do that? How did you afford to do what you did with my dad's salary. And then sometimes my mom would babysit children, to do something from the house so that she could work from home. Eventually, she made cakes and was able to. When my dad got sick, she was able to keep going with the payments and do everything until she pretty much did it for many years. But eventually, we got older and started to work. We, meaning my brother and I.
Right, right. Now, in this whole time, did she ever save anything?
She did, but she saved. Like I had a quinceañera, which is like a sweet 16, right? And for Mexicans, it's on the 15th birthday.
Okay.
And they were able to save for that. And I had a hall rental. They had DJ, the band, they had the whole thing. So they were able to save for that. She was able to save for that. She was able to save for our Disneyland trips. There were certain things that she was able to save for. I remember at one point we had a truck with a camper shell on it, which was a really big deal. So they were able to save for certain things. I don't know how she did it, how she made that money. I know there was no illegal activities going on in the household. So it wasn't like money just came out of drugs or nothing like that. Nothing like that. It was all honest money, but she managed to be able to like save for those type of things. There is no long-term savings account for my mom. When my dad passed away, there was nothing. It was what my brother and I had at the time. We were early 30s when my dad passed away, and we had businesses. And we were able to do well. So we were able to take care of my dad. We were able to take care of my mom. But it was not something that money was like, we have enough to save.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, did they talk to you about money at all?
Not so much. No. We didn't. That I recall, I don't think we really had conversations about money. I remember there were conversations about you're going to go to college. They would tell me and my brother that we were going to go to college. And I just remember thinking, I was like, how? It's like, we don't even have next month's rent secured. How am I going to pay for college? Or how are you going to pay for college? For me to go to college? So they would talk about a life that to me at the time seemed so far away because we didn't have the money for that. And I was in junior high. I was in junior high. I clearly remember that because there was a program to help us get on track so we would have all the required classes to be admitted to a four-year university. So my mom was always on that. So not so much on money, but my mom was always like, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna get an education. And my dad, they were both on the same page as far as us getting an education and going to college. There was like no question about it. And she made sure we did our homework. She did save up for a program called Where There's a Will, There's an A. She made us listen to that thing. I think it was like cassette or VHS. I don't remember, but it was like back in the day. And she made us listen to that, And I think that really helped me because when I kept hearing it, it just like instilled like there has to be a way. We don't know what it is, but there has to be a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. So did you go to university then? College?
I did.
You did? Did you learn anything more about money then? Because you've got a really business background. Like you've been quite successful in your life, right?
Yeah. Thank you. I was. I really didn't know much about what to do with money. I knew I needed a car, so I'd save up for my car after I had my job. I worked while I was in college to pay for college, to have a little bit of money afterwards. Once I graduated from college and got a real job and worked in human resources and had a salary, we were still living in the garage, so we didn't have rent or anything like that. I was able to travel. I was able to do other things. It wasn't about necessarily like saving money. I did put money into a retirement account because everybody else there was so much older than me. They all kept telling me to do this and max out. So I did do that, and I'm glad I did that piece. But I didn't really have a plan with money. It was just be able to pay for my car. That was the biggest thing, and be able to cover my daily expenses, things along those lines. And it wasn't, and then I saved for my house, for the down payment on my house. And then I started to save for that kind of thing, but not really long term. And when I had the house, I was married at the time, and I went from human resources. I got tired of corporate America nonsense and my experience with it. So I left everything and went back to the university. I did have my degree at that time, but I went back to get a teaching credential.
Wow.
And I was a kindergarten teacher for 5 years. That was fun. And after work, I would go to the gym, and I would get so mad because they always opened up late. They were supposed to open at 3 o'clock, and those employees were always late, and it's hot in LA. So I would sit in my car sweating, and I'd get angry. Man, these employees, they always show up late, and I'm exercising all mad because I had to wait for them to show up. And then I had the thought, it's like, well, I could do this. so I started counting the ceiling tiles and starting to get the square footage and started to look into it. It was a fitness center. It was a franchise. It was very early on. It was Curves for Women. And I'm like, I can open one of these out where I live. And that was my first experience with business. I went to school. I didn't know what I was going to study. Yeah, and I took a bunch of Chicano study classes just to learn about art and culture and get exposed to a world I'd never been exposed to. But I didn't want a degree in that. And so I wound up double majoring in Chicano studies and speech communication, because I figured whatever I do, I need to speak. But never business. All of a sudden, I get this idea. It's like, oh, open up a business. Like, why not? And I talked to my brother, and I'm like, hey, it's like, what do you think about opening up this business and seeing what happens? You think we could do this, and how much money it'll take? And so we started talking about it, and it worked, and that was our first business. And yeah, we did very well with it.
Well, that's awesome. So it's almost like your natural ability just kind of led you down that way. You seem to have had an instinct for recognizing that you needed to save to get things, and maybe that was the upbringing that you had where you didn't have a lot of exposure to credit. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I do remember my parents had a credit card at some point, but no. And then in college, they make it so easy. Back then, they made it so easy to get credit cards. It was like, oh yeah, I could do this, and I had a job, so I could qualify. So I just started getting credit cards, but quickly realized it was like, oh, this could be a danger. Back then, you used to pay for long distance phone calls. There was you paid more for long distance phone calls, and so yeah, I remember one bill. I was like, oh my god, I'm never talking to this person again.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day of the collect call. Yeah. So, what drove you to trading eventually?
After I was done with businesses, so we had a couple of franchises in different sections. But I was getting tired of the drive from San Jose to San Francisco, and then coming back to LA. And I just wasn't having as much fun with the businesses as I initially had for the first 12 years, 15 years that I was doing it. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I was like, I'm done with that type of a business. And I always thought trading was fun. I had a class in high school where it was actually a summer class. And the teacher there gave us a Wall Street Journal and said, pick a stock, write down what the price is, and then we're going to follow it and see how it does by the end of the summer. And I remember I picked Coke, and I just I was like, this is kind of fun. And I would try to get access to that newspaper. And that I remember that was like, oh, that's really nice. It was like, you could just watch, and I didn't know how it worked, but it's like, I just knew it was like every week it would change. And so that was my first exposure to trading. And so I wanted to do something with it. After my businesses, while I had the businesses, I was buying and holding. And I was in Silicon Valley. And so, I was exposed to a lot of great companies. So I would buy and just hold, and then just kind of wait. And then I think I sold most of them when I bought my house in Oregon. I sold most of the stocks. But that was my first. And then at the time when I was in San Jose, I had a boyfriend that gave me a trading course for my birthday. And yeah. And I was like, oh, this is great. It was one of the best birthday gifts ever, because that opened up this whole world of trading. And it wasn't Jeremy's course. It's a pretty expensive course. Of course, he gave me the introductory course, which was pretty reasonably priced, but everything else was like $20,000. That was my exposure to trading, my first steps into trading. $20,000 for a trading education did not seem like much after spending what I did at the university level. I'm like, okay, this is good. Little did I know real life trading was out there.
Well, I mean, I know that our education is free, which is awesome. So that's really good. But given the amount that you did spend on the education, do you think that you got the value out of it that you expected?
Oh, no. No, because the reason I found Jeremy was because I was online trying to figure out my missing pieces from the education. So I would make money and then I'd lose it. And then I'd make and lose and make and lose. And, sometimes I'd make a little bit more than I lost. Then I would make and I blew a couple of accounts. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong. I'm just not getting this. It's like, and it was very frustrating too, because it was like, okay, how could I run multiple businesses in multiple counties and I can't trade? It's like, I can't make money trading. What is wrong with me? So I was online trying to figure out what am I doing wrong, and YouTube trying to watch some videos, and I came across Jeremy, and I was like, this guy makes sense. Who is he? And of course his energy and his enthusiasm for trading. So I just started watching more videos and more videos. And then I saw one of the videos where they had a link to join the room. So I already spent a bunch of money. It's like, what's a little bit more and try out this room. I'd never been in a trading room like that. So I tried it and it became sense.
So once you found real life trading, that started to put some of those pieces together, correct?
It did. Having that risk management, just learning that risk unit for each trade made sense. Now implementing it was another story, but knowing that first piece is like, wow, it's like this makes a big difference. And that was definitely like the biggest piece of information. And then also the community. Really can't put a price on the community and the people within real life trading. And one thing is the free education, but having a community is the reason why I think many of us are still around. We keep learning. We definitely keep learning, but the community, it really is priceless. To find a group of traders that genuinely care about each other, that genuinely help each other. And that's, I think, one of the best things about our community, about real life trading, that you get the education for free. If you want to join, you can join. And then you just get exposed to all these phenomenal people, where before I was trading by myself in the office, was ready to bang my head up against the wall because I felt like a failure. I wasn't getting anything.
And that support is key, right? Because every single one of us has been there at one point or another, and we're all on a different part of our journey.
But I was going to mention, like, right now that the market has been very choppy, and like for me, my trading plan, the way I had it, is not suitable for this market. And so instead of me bailing and saying, okay, this is it, I'm not going to do this, I still get to participate. I still get to learn. I'm taking this time to be part of mentoring groups as a participant, to learn, to review, to try out a new strategy, to be able to listen to what other people are doing. And so even though I'm not actively trading as I normally do, I still get that human contact, even if it's virtual or via chat. But we have a retreat, so I get to see people in person too. But I think, I realized this a few days ago, that I was like, this is really nice to still be able to be part of a community when people out in the world are having such a difficult time. Like some of us might be having a difficult time, but we're still together. It's like if there's a family crisis, right, which in this case would be the market. If there's a family crisis, people shouldn't just run into their own rooms and close the door. On the contrary, the crisis should bring people together and be more supportive for each other. And that's what I'm seeing with the real life trading community.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Xochitl, are you a full-time trader?
I do consider myself a full-time trader.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what everyone's definition of a full-time trader is.
Well, I would determine a full-time trader is you no longer rely on a job, job, right? You don't rely on a job as your primary source of income. That's how I would determine full-time trader. So you're either a full-time trader and you're day trading regularly, or you're swing trading, but your income's coming from trading.
So then I would say I'm not 100% a full-time trader.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else have you got on the go?
I've been late last year. I was fortunate enough to get on with real life trading as a staff member, as a team member, and that's one. Also, I'm in the process of finishing up the book, and I do expect that to be able to bring in another stream of income. I've also, with Jeremy's mentoring, I also started more of a formal business consulting practice, and so I have clients that I work with, so that generates another stream of income for me. And then for fun, I get rid of all the junk I've had around the house. I'm like old Harley Davidson shirts that still have tags, and I just put them out on eBay. And so I'm doing a variety of things, and trading is definitely really big on my list. But I had some expenses that I incurred to try to save my house when I was in Oregon. And so I think that's the main reason why trading itself is not my primary source.
You're developing multiple sources of income, which is excellent, and we encourage that for everybody. So that's really good. Now, when you do trade, are you primarily a day trader, swing trader, or a bit of both? Do you trade stocks, options? What do you do?
I do. The majority of my trading is in options. That is the majority. Yeah, that is the majority. And I've been trying to be a day trader because I love it. I think it's fun, but realize that I'm not. I tend to see more of I'll say like a bigger picture, more of looking at it further back where I could see the longer time frame. And I know it's the same thing on a smaller time frame, but mentally it's not. So I would say that now I'm more of a swing trader, which is taking a huge stress load off of me because I no longer feel like I have to day trade to make money. I take my swing trades, and I still take day trades. I do like it, but I'm not looking for them each and every single morning. You know, I look at the market every morning, but I don't have that pressure to day trade. If I see it and I have a setup that I like, I'll take it. But I'm not necessarily spending a lot of time fishing for a day trade.
Okay, awesome. Well, what's your biggest joy coming from learning trading? Like, what has been the biggest reward for you?
Learning about me.
Learning about you. Interesting.
Learning about me because, at the beginning, I made trading about being right, being wrong, being successful, being a failure. And that's how I was measuring my success. God bless me with some very successful businesses. And then I come trade and I'm losing money. And it's the only place that I know of that if you're wrong, you're going to pay. And in coming from business, if you made a mistake, you made a mistake, but people, no one's necessarily charging you for being wrong. And in trading, it's like, I'm giving somebody my money when I'm wrong. So I've made it mean a lot of things that it's not what the stock market means. It's not what trading means. And I also learned about my tolerance for risk, which I thought I had a very high tolerance for risk because I've risked a lot of things by having businesses and picking up and moving to a new city and doing different things. I thought I had a high tolerance for risk. And then with trading, it's like I face my demons. It's like, you're not taking my money. This is my money. This is my money. I already had an ex-husband take my money. I already had a bad business deal where they stopped paying me. So they walked away with my money. And now with trading is like, I was like overprotective. Like, you are not taking my money. This is mine. And so my trading was based upon fear and me being so overprotective and being right and wrong. And it was a learning process and a growing curve for me to understand it's a trading plan. It is not me. And I got to the point where I still necessarily like to lose, but I got very comfortable looking at my trade and saying I would take that over again. And once I was able to do that, it really shifted in my mind about trading, about what success is. It's not winning and losing. It's, did I follow my plan? You know, and I've heard the moderator say that for years, but until I got it and it really registered with me, that's when it started to change who I am as a trader, and not getting mad. You know, just being able to look at it and say, okay, you know, yeah, I probably should have gotten in earlier, you know, like going back and looking at my trades and saying, yeah, I could have gotten in earlier, or, oh, I didn't even look at the 100, or I didn't even look at it on the weekly, or I didn't notice a certain moving average was there. And I just go back and try to see what it was, to see if, just to try to make myself a better trader, but I don't beat myself up for being wrong.
What's in the future for you? Where do you think your trading is going to take you?
I think the trade continues to open up a lot of doors for me, and I continue to trade, and I see it as an opportunity for me to be able to do things that I had not thought about before. You know, I think I've always been a generous person and give to organizations and help people out. That type of giving I've always had in my heart. But the level of giving has magnified with trading, because I see how much money moves, and I don't even see all of it, right? Just from the little piece that I see how much money is out there. I see how much money can be made, and I think, no, I got to take care of the financial stuff that I incurred to try to save my house, right? So I have to deal with that. So I'm in that process now. I'm looking forward to just being done with that piece to get that off of my plate. But looking ahead, I want to be able to do some really fun things for other people. You know, one of the things that I really want to do is fund an Operation Underground Railroad steam, you know, and have them go wherever they go. But just to be able to know in my heart is like, I was able to put $20,000 toward this operation. You know, that's one of the things that I really want to do, because I'm not just providing for me, I'm not just providing for my own future, for my family, but to be able to do something like that and give it to an organization that I love and respect, to be able to help save children, young men and women, boys and girls, babies. You know, trading has opened that up for me on that type of level. You know, going from a garage to wanting to give $20,000 for a sting operation. But to me, trading has opened us up. Being surrounded by people who have multiple streams of income. Jeremy is a huge example. He's been a huge influence in my life, and I've had the opportunity to coach with him, and him ask me questions. What about this? What about that? You know, have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that? And maybe I've thought about one or two things, but it's like, well, what if I'm wrong? What if I fail? And it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, trading will provide more money for me to try something else tomorrow. If this fails today, then I didn't choose the right method. I could try something else again tomorrow. But that abundance is there. That market is there. The trading is there. So those are some of the things that I look forward to. Just, you know, be able to go to Walmart and buy that gift card and hand it over to the person behind me and just walk away. You know, just be able to do things that are going to make other people smile. They're going to help other people. You know, and providing, like, just having access to a trading education. And then with the company, with Real Life Trading, we also want to get involved with foster care programs. We want to be able to do things for other people that have had a tough tough life, a tough upbringing, and let them know, hey, it doesn't have to be like this. You may have been born this way, but we don't have to stay this way. Here's an education. Let's get you on a different track. Let's get you, and let's get you some mentors, and let's get you what you need so you can go and do what you were originally called to do.
Having money is just going to make that much more giving available for you. And I think that's awesome. You've got some great goals. I look forward to seeing what's in store for you in the future, working with you, trading with you. I just love having you in my life. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So, and to all you women out there, if you are looking to, start something different, if you're thinking that this is maybe for you, but not quite sure, reach out to us. You can reach me at tracy@reallifetrading.com. You can get in contact with me if you want to talk to Xochitl. I can get you in touch with Xochitl. So just, like I said, reach out to me and we'll go there and we'll make that happen. Otherwise, check us out at reallifetrading.com. We've got a ton of free education. You're more than welcome to start, looking at some of our classes and taking them and learning on your own. And then after that, you can reach out to us. So whatever is there. It's never too early to start. We have traders that are, at all ranges, from young to in their retirement golden years, and they're either just learning or masters at the skill. So it's something that you can do at any time. Xochitl, thank you. I appreciate you being here. You guys, bless you all. And we'll see you soon. And if you find value in this, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified of any future content that we release. All right. Cheers.